Hello, kit heads. We are talking kit, the home of the greatest football kit content in the whole entire world, on the internet, on that there YouTube. As always, I am Double A, and I'm joined as always for this show. I'm talking kit. Obviously, get to know Ryan from Classic Shirt Co. Evening, pal. You okay?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Yeah, I'm just recovering from watching that final. Obviously I'm
Yeah,
Northern Ireland man, like, but I wanted to see them do well, so it was dramatic, like. But I'm sure all you boys with our heart rates are still going an absolute dinger, So
well, not me personally. I don't support England, but I'm very happy for him. We should say, obviously, England, the Lionesses winning the Euros against Germany at Wembley 2-1 in extra time. It was a great final. Really good game. Like you said, they had to do it the hard way, but that's England for you. They don't ever do anything simple. But yeah, deserved winners, and yeah, hats off to them. Congratulations, as a lot of fans are saying, it has finally come home. So yeah, like I say, big congratulations, hats off to them. But moving on, it's time for our monthly meetup, mate, where we sit down. And as myself, a collector, and you, a seller, as well as a collector, but a seller,
yeah,
we get one of each. We sit down for an hour or so, and we have a chat and find out why they love and why they started doing what they do in terms of selling and collecting shirts, and just expanding the universe that is the kit community and putting faces to names and getting some stories on why football shirt collecting is the greatest hobby in the world, which I'm sure you will agree.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Notice obviously you're wearing brand new United shirt, long sleeve as well.
Yeah, I went for the long sleeve one. Yeah,
He's gone for the long sleever.
yeah, I do like a long sleeve, although it's not the same as last year's long sleeve. Just the fit, it's kind of must be like half an inch shorter or something, I think, and because I went for the authentic one as well. It's like a slightly different fit to the previous ones, but I have no complaints. I like it. I didn't like it when it leaked, as we've talked in the videos done before, but I'm a fan of it now. I like definitely.
Fan of it. Yeah, I've liked it a lot more since seeing it. The away one, I'm a fan of. That third one though, the suspected third.
Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't correlate to anything really,
No, unless I've seen people trying to like sort of link it to Newton Heath, but I think that's just a bit of a stretch, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, massive stretch.
Like
me wearing a Kappa top stretch, you know what I mean? Like, serious?
Yeah, it's like me trying to stretch for the top shelf. Just not happening. Being 5'6", struggle, mate. But no, it's good to see you again, mate. Obviously, as always, happy that still do the show. Like say, getting to know people that we may not, we only speak to on internet, on Twitter, and when we're buying shirts or selling shirts to them. It's always good to have those conversations. I enjoyed the last episode. That episode could have gone for 2 hours. Sometimes, like we say, these shows can go on, and I think that episode last time definitely could have expanded more if someone on the panel didn't have to rush off for a meal with his better half.
Yeah,
but I'm expecting the same again tonight. I think there's two great guests coming on.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to speak to him and find out a little bit more about them. So that being said, let's crack on and get to know who is on the show with us tonight. So on the seller's side, we have someone who reached out. Well, we reached out to Twitter. This guy came in straight away. First reply. So I jumped in his DMs as quick as I could. It is Max from Fitted for Fans. Good evening, pal. Are you okay?
I'm doing great. Football is home.
Finally, after what, 30 odd years, 60 odd, 50, how many years? 60 odd years? 50?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's such a nice feeling, I'll be honest, I'm not going to be some hipster who says that he's been following the women's game for years and years and years. I can't tell you how refreshing it is to watch football and there's no toxicity about it. It's such a nice feeling to know that there's not going to be any rampant racism. No one's doing like making a tit of themselves by sticking a flare up their ass. It's just a nice, wholesome feeling.
I have to say, Max, the night is still young, so let's not count our chickens before the match. You don't know what's going to be going on. But no, thank you for what I mean part of the show. I mean, it's always nice when people come to you and say, "I'm up for it. I'm down." So yeah, we really appreciate it, mate. We're looking forward to getting to know more a bit about you, and why you love selling, and as you can probably see, collecting shirts as well at the same time. It's always good to know.
No, it's sometimes very difficult to draw that line between when the seller begins and where the collector ends.
Well, that's it. Like, it's one of them things. Obviously, like we say, we have one seller, one collector, but I guarantee every seller that we have on is a collector as well. It's impossible to not collect them as well. So it's, like I say, them lines do get blurred. But we're gonna get our collector on now. He's been on the channel before. He came on an episode of, I'm going to say it, one of the best shows on the internet, Full Kit Rankers, which is coming back at the end of August. First show is going to be massive. That's all I can say. The guest we've lined up is a big one, and I'm excited for that to happen. So, yeah, I think the 24th of August is going to be the first episode of Series 2 of Full Kit Rankers. But, yeah, so our guest came on one of our episodes. It was a great episode, and I'm a big, big, big fan of his channel. I love watching his videos. They're getting better and better. I hope you don't mind me saying that. It is, of course, Club Football Shirts. Dan, evening, pal. You okay?
Evening. I'm good. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, anytime. You're more than welcome. I'm happy for you to be part of the furniture, mate. That's all I can say about that one for you. How are you? How's everything going in your world, in your collection world?
It's been a very busy day today, just filming my own content. So I'm just quite keen now just to sit back and let somebody else take control a little bit. So I'm kind of pleased that that's kind of the thing, especially towards the end of the week. So I'm more than happy just to let you dictate how things play out.
I'll know how that feels, obviously, going on other channels and stuff, which I do quite regularly through the week. And I'm one of 5 hosts on another channel, and they'll say, do you want to host it? I'm like, absolutely not. I'll do it on this. I'm happy to sit back. Is that not that pressure? You can more be yourself because you're not having to pull the strings and make sure everything runs smooth. So I know how you're feeling, mate, and that sort of calmness that washes over you, knowing you can just sort of answer some nice, easy questions and then move on and enjoy yourself. So, yeah, like I said, mate, really happy that you're here and doing some more content together. It's like I said, I'm a big fan of your content, mate. So I'm happy to see it growing. It's doing quite well as well. The videos seem to be getting bigger and bigger, which is good.
It's good. It's good. It's nice. It's nice to see the numbers slowly increase, but just got to keep going at it.
Well, that's it. We'll talk some more about obviously what you do on your channel and stuff like that, because there's some interesting concepts and some interesting videos I've seen recently. So definitely looking forward to finding a little bit more about them. Right. Okay. So what we'll do first is we've answered these questions before. So I have some quick fire questions. These are questions that we've sometimes asked on the main podcast that we have. But I thought, being a seller and a collector, it's good to ask these questions as well to you two guys, because they're quite relevant to you and stuff like that. So who should we go for? Let's go with Dan. We'll do it that way. There's 7 questions. First answer that pops into your head, just shout out for me, mate. Okay. So the first one is short or long sleeves?
Short sleeves. I hate long sleeves.
Stadium or authentic? Question 2: stadium or authentic shirt? Can you hear me? Am I there?
Yes.
There is a bit of a lag going on. It keeps sort of stopping.
Okay.
Oh. It seems all right.
Everyone. Can everyone hear me? Am I there?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear it. It's just every now and then it drops out.
Okay. Okay. I'll try again. Question 2: stadium or authentic shirt?
I'm getting into authentic mainly recently, so probably that.
Seems to be the way. Collar or no collar? Judging off tonight.
I'm not bothered, to be honest. I used to hate collars, but I'm slowly getting back into them.
Okay. Sponsor, yes or no?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I can say that by one of your videos recently. The Puma one. Is it? I'm lagging again. Is it gone again?
Oh, that's his lag face.
I know.
We have some issues here.
Right. Can you hear us, Max?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something at my end, possibly.
Tell you what, Dan, if you want to just drop out and then maybe come back in,
I'll give it a reset, man.
That might help.
Anyways,
hey, live
we'll
shows.
Edit this section out.
He's live, so he's out to the world. What we'll do, Max, we'll just do the questions to you then,
sure.
And then we'll come back to Dan when he comes back. So yeah, question one: long or short sleeves, short or long sleeves, whichever.
Short sleeves.
Short sleeves. Stadium or authentic shirts?
Is the stadium the more basic version?
Yeah.
Then I'll call it that, because to me it's either the basic version or like player issue. I don't really know which is the right name these days.
Yeah. Collar or no collar?
No collar.
No collar. Sponsor, yes or no?
Depends if there's an option, if there's a betting sponsor. Sponsor, yes, but if there's a betting sponsor, I'd take a sponsorless version.
That's actually a great answer to that question. 1 to 11 or squad numbers?
Squad numbers.
Squad numbers. Training shirts or training jackets?
Trading shirts. You can make more memories off of it.
Last but not least, online bargain or a charity shop find?
Charity shop find. Hands down.
Yeah. No, that's some good questions. Dan's not back yet at the moment. I think he's just having a proper reset. So we will just hang around a little bit. I will say, obviously, I've not managed to say it yet. If it is your first time talking kit, or maybe if it isn't, but you do enjoy the content, be sure to drop a like on the video. The more likes we get, the more notice we get on YouTube, which obviously helps the channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed as well. We are slowly creeping up. The numbers are going up a little bit, but we are trying to get higher and higher as quickly as possible. So any help with that is obviously great. And yeah, drop a comment tonight. Obviously, the guys asking any questions you want to ask any sort of collectors or sellers in regards to their hobby and their passion. That will be absolutely great. A couple of comments have come in. Viking Football Show, thank you for joining us, giving us the hands up there. And obviously, one of the friends of the channel, Andy. Good evening, Andy. Thanks for joining us. Go and check out after us. I think he's put up a YouTube video of him opening a couple of mystery boxes. It's definitely worth a watch. So make sure you go and check that out over on Andy's channel, Jackson's channel. We're just still kind of waiting for Dan to come. So let's talk about the football then. How did you find the game? Max, did you enjoy it? Was it?
Yeah, it was a very close game. Like I say, I'm not going to pretend that I'm all knowing about when it comes to women's football, though off the back of this, I really should get into it. I don't know if you're like into WWE, but I think we're at this moment in time where, if you grew up in the 90s and you watch wrestling and the way that women were used back then, that they were just nothing more than eye candy and just degraded and stuff. And now we're at this point where we have the likes of Becky Lynch and other fantastic women wrestlers. And we're kind of at the same point now where people who weren't used to women's wrestling in the truest sense of the word back then have come around to the idea of women wrestlers who have gone past what the men have done in certain circumstances. And we're at that point now where men are now taking women's football much more seriously, and they can appreciate the athleticism and the talent in the same way. I always think it's a little bit sus when people are just like, oh, well, it's not as good as men's football. There's the physicality there. It's like, well, of course, but can't you still appreciate it anyway?
Yeah. But it's like saying, you can't watch lower league football because it's not Champions League level, for example.
Like the passion's not still there.
Yeah, there's still people enjoy it. There's people actually loathe Premier League football because they prefer amateur or they prefer the lower divisions.
Lower divisions, yeah.
They don't see them as lower in the standings, but that's about it. They actually enjoy that type of football. They enjoy the more physical side of the football, for example, or just the fact that the players play the game differently. I did find it kind of funny, like, because everyone said it tongue in cheek, for the last 4 minutes or so. I did actually reply to, I think it was Carl Anka's tweet about, you'll see the dark arts here for the next 4 minutes. because why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? If you're an England player, you're going to do everything you can to run down that clock. And I kind of appreciated people actually just being honest for once and saying that they just want that to happen.
Yeah,
you know, that's part of the football thing, that it's not always the perfect, beautiful game. You know, you have to be a bit of a, you have to be cunning and conniving sometimes for it too. And I liked how refreshingly honest the whole thing was with it, really. You know, it seems to be with women's football, it, as you say, it doesn't have all this sort of nonsense around it. It just has an honest approach, and everyone will. Well, from what I've seen anyway, like everyone say, look, I haven't been watching it as much as I should have. I'm not going to try and, you know, fib that. I'm not going to try and cover that. But I'm really enjoying it, like, and they're enjoying the atmosphere it's creating, or they're enjoying certain different things about their game. But then the dark arts part, as I mentioned, they're all showing like Jose Mourinho photos and stuff, and they were saying that. So it shows that the women's and the men's thing are exactly the same at certain times as well, you know. So it's not, I think, like certainly for Northern Ireland as well. No, we you know, the players went there not expecting anything.
Yeah,
we got a goal. A couple of my friends went over and travelled and watched the games and stuff. Had a great time. You know, absolutely had a ball. Like, and there was men and women at it, and they just really, really enjoyed it. So it was nice to see that too.
Yeah, it seems like the whole tournament's got brought that buzz around. Like, you know, hopefully it's going to go on strength to strength. Obviously, the Super League, the Women's Super League over here seems to be getting bigger and bigger. More prime time. Obviously, it's going to be in FIFA, the new FIFA 23, which is brilliant for the women's game. And obviously, hoping now, you know, they've won the Euros. It's only going to get bigger. You know, you see more and more young girls playing football. Yeah, and it can only get better. And you know, I'm saying, just having a daughter myself, not too long ago, it's nice for her if she wants to go down that route, that she can then look up to people and have heroes, where, you know, 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't really that spotlight on the women's game.
So it was illegal 50 years ago for them to play it
in the 70s. Yeah.
It's just mental. Like.
Yeah. It's just come in. Dan is unfortunately going to have to miss out. He said he's having technical difficulties, means he'll have to stand out. I do apologise. Phone doesn't like handling video, audio, hotspot, and Bluetooth at the same time. One day, so that's fine, no problem, Dan. We will get you on another time when it suits you. So the spotlight's all on you, Max. Unfortunately, we just have to.
I guess I can talk to you about as a collector and as a seller at the same time. So it's both passions.
You've not got, right there.
You've not got the sad thing is, mate, you've not got a choice.
Oh yeah, what a shame.
Let's get into it then. I don't need to do the other sort of question in terms of who goes first, because it is going to be you. So, yeah, how long have you been? Let's start on the collecting side, and we'll go into selling it, and we can mix it up from there. So, yeah, collecting football shirts. I think if you really went back, you collected football shirts as a kid because you used to buy every kit, or you used to get a lot of kits. So, but when did it really become that thing of something that you wanted to actually do?
Yeah, I think like most people, it's when classic football shirts came along, and through my dad's work, I once went with him to their office when it used to be on Deansgate, and they let me go through the stock room, and I don't know if you see this City goalkeeper shirt here. I used to have this shirt as a kid, and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, like this shirt. And it just kind of like sparked something. I was trying to be like, not knowing back then how business kind of works, and just like, oh my God, I used to love this shirt as a kid, and just thinking like, oh yeah, you can have it for free. Like, you know, you have that stupid thing, entitled thing in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
But going into that office was just like, just an amazing time travel, I guess you could say. Yeah. And very, very slow. Like, obviously you can see I'm a City fan, and I'd buy the shirts every single year. And I'd buy the shirts, and I would have a collection, but I would not necessarily say that I'm a collector, if you see where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
But then, just like everyone else, when lockdown happens, and then you're trying to start to focus your mind on things, the football shirt business was one aspect of things, but then I was also buying loads of football shirts at the same time. You know, people before the prices of football shirts and offers, started to take off, you'd be picking up things left, right, and centre for ridiculous, like 20 quid for a football shirt, all in, just absolute madness. And so over the past year or two, it's gone from, say, this to this. And I think I counted the other day that there's about 70 on there. And I know that's minuscule in the grand scheme of things to what, like, some other people may have, but it's mine. And I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, I think I'm around the same number, mate. 17. Like you say, you see people with 300-400, and that is the goal. But I think sometimes a collection is what you make of it. So it's not the quantity, it's the actual quality of shirts that you're getting. Whether that's a sort of a template. Obviously, like I like to buy the T90s and stuff out Barcelona, Brazil. Not so much United, weirdly, which is obviously my team. I only have quite a few United shirts in my collection. It's what you make of it. And I think, you can pick out, like you say, you pulled that goalkeeper shirt out and that instantly brings back so many memories for you being as a kid and stuff like that. I think them are more important than some people. And I've been guilty of it, just buying anything you see because you think it's cheap, it's a good shirt. And then you realize a couple of days, weeks, months, years later, you think, actually, why have I actually bought it? And you probably sell it on straight away. So, obviously, being a City fan, I think Jack's Andy's come in saying, "What is the City shirt you're wearing?" If you want to tell us.
So this is the Manchester City 2002-2003 home shirt. It's from City's last season at Main Road. Now, usually in the crest here, it would say Superblia in Prolio, which is Latin for pride in battle, which is funny when you consider how we were playing at that time without pride. But instead, it actually says Main Road 1923-2003. And this is, if you know your football history, this is from a design based on the 1956 FA Cup final, most famously known for when Bert Troutman broke his neck in goal and continued playing.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get a name set on the back. I'm unsure about if I want to get Berkovic 14 or Foe 23. Either or is a good option, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Foe 23 obviously goes down. Obviously, that number's retired, obviously, for City now, isn't it, and stuff. So, is it the first advice?
Yep. First advice. And if you've ever owned this shirt, it's almost like a reinforced felt. So, I will never really wear this shirt out and about, because if I do, and I'm wearing a t-shirt underneath as well too, because if I go out and about and I sweat into it and it has to go in the wash, I paid too much money for this to just go in the wash and fall to pieces.
Yeah. I bought someone at Christmas. It's obviously the Cox Sportif and the first advice, the black and red striped one.
Yeah, this one here.
No, so it's black, the black and red stripes, the horizontal vertical stripes.
That one.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was from the season after.
Season after, yeah, and it's getting it, and you think, wow, the sponsor is just so heavy on it. It's ridiculous. Like. Now, obviously, a lot sublimated, or you just don't feel that, really, really light material. But back then, it used to be really heavy, sort of like say felt. It was crazy. Like players were expected to wear that and sweating that, and
just the general material is a lot heavier than it. I don't really notice too much. I mean, I wouldn't look to play football in this. I probably would wear something that's more lightweight, more modern if I was playing football. But I'm not against the idea of sponsors being sublimated, because that way, then I'm not talking like the screen printing that you get now on things, but actually within the material, so that way I don't have to have the fear of God in me when I put it in the wash. Even if I do all that's instructed of me, I just fear that it's just going to fall to pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if you do ever need to wash it, you're spill a sauce or something daft, because things like that happen from time to time. Yeah. If you get a basin, because I've done this one or two shirts, I've done it with the AIK special edition one, because I wore it at that football event down in Dundalk there, and then realised, I am going to have to wash this. Like, what am I going to do? So, and I've done it with older shirts, like 80s shirts and stuff I've got in. Warm water, not boiling water, but warm enough water and vanish powder, and mixed it into like a big enough basin. Yeah. And just soak the shirt through that way, and just sort of like lightly hand wash it through it, and then obviously dry it on the line or dry it somewhere where you're not going to put any pressure on the sponsors and stuff. And it's safe. It is a safe way to do it.
Yeah, someone put a tweet out the other day, like in capital letters, saying, "For the love of God, don't do anything but hand wash your football shirts."
That's what I do. I think it was Zeke knocked me down. He's done a whole thread on how he sort of washes his shirts and that. And I spoke to him about it and took some advice. And I stand at I've stood at that my sink washing football shirts more than I've washed pots, and I've lived there for a few years now. That's not just because I've got a dishwasher, obviously, but I just mean I stand there and I can do it. I've done it for like 2 or 3 hours, and I've not realised how long I've gone. And I'm washing shirt after shirt after shirt, and it's I only put them in the washing machine to sort of spin them, to sort of give it a bit of a spin for sort of 10 minutes, and then
the total 90 ones you mentioned there, especially the Brazil one and stuff. Like if the name sets, you couldn't possibly throw them in the washing machine. Like it's just too dodgy. You know, even like a light setting or whatever, like a light 30 wash, I'm too scared to do that. Like
terrified. Even with, like you said, Max, even though when you do everything you're meant to do in regards to washing the shirt, you still have the fear of God, and you think, oh, please just come out all right. Please don't have this. Please don't do that. It's a terrifying business, especially when you pay, through the nose for certain shirts, and it's like, how long can I actually wear it without having to wash it?
You know what should be worn, what can be worn more often, and what should be worn with a t-shirt underneath, so you don't get sweat on it, and then you don't, you try and convince yourself to, that doesn't need to go in the wash. I put a t-shirt on underneath, so therefore no sweat touch, therefore it can go straight back on the rail. There's some things here which have not actually been washed since I've got it, because I just can't take that chance, which is a little bit sad when you think about it. But I just don't want that money spent to go essentially up in smoke, even if I have had some of these for like 2-3 years now.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to collecting then, so like you say, you got around about 70 shirts. So is the one shirt that sparked, did you say, was it the goalkeeper one that sparked it, or was the one that, so that's the one that sparked you collecting? So would you hold that up as your grail?
Sorry?
Would you hold that up as your grail shirt, or?
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, this is my childhood shirt. Like if I had to define my childhood by a football shirt, it's this hands down. However, this here is going with me to the grave. This was just before lockdown. So City were meant to be playing Arsenal, and then because they played, was it Olympiacos that they played, and then suddenly everyone got struck down with COVID, and Arteta got it, and then everyone, they were So on the day of that match, I was around Eccles in Manchester. I mean, you said you're from Manchester?
I'm Mancunian, yeah.
Where are you from?
I've lived out more East Manchester. I live in Mosley at the moment. I live in Mosley now, but yeah.
All right. I'm from Prestwich.
My brother's barbershop is in Prestwich, Whitefield.
Right.
So I know it well.
Very good. So I was doing like football shirt hunting. I'd done my university stuff that day, coursework, going to lectures, whatever. So I went around Manchester football shirt hunting, and I was in Eccles, British Red Cross, and I was just looking at the main men's rail, and I just see the shoulders from the corner of my eye, and I'm thinking to myself, that's not it. That's not what I think it is. Because what was really weird, a week or two earlier, I'd gone with my girlfriend to Harrogate, and we'd gone into a charity shop, and it just came out of there. And I'd said to her, for my birthday, I would really like to have myself like a sky blue Kappa raincoat, because my mind was thinking it would pay homage to this, because I knew I would never get this unless I was willing to fork out a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
So I see this, and I'm like, and I pick it up, and it's, oh my God, it's the real deal. And it was £3.50.
Shut up. No way.
Promise you. I absolutely promise you. And I go to the till. I'm getting tears in my eyes when I was paying for it. I'm getting a little bit choked. And I just could not believe it. I was just messaging my dad about it, because I had something very simple, like a full zip version of this as a kid. Yeah. And it was just absolutely amazing. And yeah, that was that. I go back home, I take a picture of me wearing this, and I put it in a City Facebook group that I'm on. And a guy messages me who's from like around Bolton area. I can't remember where exactly. And he's like, it says to me, I have the pants as well. I never wear them. Do you want them for free?
What?
Oh, what a man.
So yeah, if you can see here, I got the legs too for it.
Mate.
This whole thing, which is, well, you guys probably know, it's going to be at least £150. Well, I'd say like 120 odd pounds for the jacket.
Oh, no, 150 like because of the condition as well.
Yeah.
And I paid £3.50 in total. What's really funny is that when I wear it all together, everyone is looking at me like, you look like a total idiot. I'm like, yeah, I do. What, you think I was doing this for cool brownie points or whatever?
Yeah. So if we ever do full tracksuit rankers, you're gonna have to come on and you can do that show.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
mate. So would you put that down as your best charity shop find then? I imagine
the best there is, the best there was, the best there'll ever be.
That is pretty special. Obviously, one of the other talking kit lads, Sean, recently, not too far from here in Ashton, found a 1990 to 1992 Sheffield United away shirt.
I saw that on Twitter. Amazing.
Yeah. £5. I can't. He has found some absolute gold. To be honest with you, we're going to talk it on the main pod in a couple of days that we're recording. Obviously, he found a Red Star shirt as well. Was it Red Star? Yeah, Red Star Belgrade, and he's ended up being on a Serbian website about it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They've lifted his tweet and they put it all. Oh, it's.
I saw something about that. I mean, it was a more modern shirt, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's from like 2000. I'm sure it's like 2015, 2016, and I think not Sean's like he's dead. If you know him, he goes out of his way to be a bit weird. So him saying he'd never thought he'd own one of these shirts, blah blah blah, and they kind of ran with that. And I think they called him an amateur goalkeeper on his thing, but that's just in his bio just because he plays 5 sides. That's what it is, and it's hilarious. But that's one of them things. He's found some great stuff in charity shops. I think the best one I found, a authentic sort of player issue France shirt for about £7.50 a couple of weeks ago from like 2000.
Oh yeah, remember you showing us that? Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to get them. I just need to get them plasters that Nike had on at that time sorted, but. Yeah, I mean, I envy you, mate. Finding that is up there with probably one of the best. And then to get the pants for free as well, you must be very thankful that sort of happened for you, more definitely.
Yeah. I wore it for the first match back at the Etihad after, when they let 10,000 people go to the stadium. Because I'd said for ages that when we can go back, I'm doing it. And my dad was just looking at me like I say, you look like an idiot. Like, I made this promise to myself. It was just something to cling on to get you through such a horrible time, really. When it gets colder, then this is pretty much what I wear all the time.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it's cold a lot up here, mate. So I imagine you've got it on quite a bit.
I'm really roasting at the moment. I can't wait. I'm doing this just to fit in with you guys, but I'm roasting right now.
Can imagine. Ryan, any questions?
Yeah, so we're sticking with the collector questions for now, and then we'll go.
Anything that comes across, mate, we can mix it up as much as you like tonight. Okay.
Well, yeah, I suppose then if you do the collector, sure, I'll go for the
okay.
the other ones if that's all right, Max. So,
yeah, of course. Man.
Yeah. So I suppose we're talking about obviously the goalkeeper kit and you being with CFS there and talking to them about it and having the idea of it would be great to get this type thing. But what was the jump then from collecting and buying every season and stuff as you mentioned, to collecting to then going, wait a minute, actually I can sell as well as collect?
Yeah. So I used to volunteer at Manchester Dogs Home, and they've got a charity shop there. And one day I was just walking past it, and they had what was my very first charity shop find, which was a City 1999 playoff final shirt, original Kappa shirt. Now, on one hand, I'm kicking myself because I did sell it on eBay, probably for way under value. I think I sold it for about £60 odd. But on the other hand, if I didn't sell it, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you now, probably. So you know, you got to take the rough with the smooth. And then the next day, I went past it again, and then they had the Kappa home shirt. Now I actually have that shirt in my collection. I've had it for probably the longest time in this collection right now. And I sold that again, and I did look the other day, and I way undersold that because I think I sold that between like £30 to £40. But basically, it was just that at that point, I could have done with the money, and I sold the stuff, made good money, and I just started thinking, well, maybe this is because I was working part-time at that point, being a university student, just thinking, well, I could do with getting some extra money here. And it just slowly developed from there. And now I'm at this point where I'm still the small fry in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I'm never going to be to the stature of your, like, Ryan, with a shop or anything like that. But I feel like I can be a viable option for people that they know I'm a football shirt seller rather than just someone who's trying to flog football shirts, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, there is a funny sort of thing with that. Like, trying to think how to describe it with, like, because it's not that, like, put people down or whatever for it, but some people get annoyed at people doing it because they do see them as collectors, don't they? Whereas in other people, they see it, well, that person's a seller, so that's how they operate. They collect too, because all sellers do. But they are categorized as a seller, so that's how they operate. It's kind of, I don't know, Aaron, if you've seen it as well on Twitter, it's kind of murky that way. Some people really don't like someone buying a shirt off someone knowing that they can maybe sell it for more.
Mm-hmm.
But they do it in a charity shop by just seeing it, just as you mentioned there, bam, I've got that shirt, I know I can sell that, that's what I'm going to do. And that's seen as okay type thing, but they're both the same. It's just a different source of where it came from, really, you know. But I know what you're saying, though. You're better sort of saying, like, I am a seller, but I do, you know, fair deals and I do everything in the right way type thing. But it's funny just you mentioned it. I just sort of brought up a conversation I had during the week with someone, and they don't like sellers buying and selling, but they don't like collectors buying and selling, but they understand sellers buying and selling, if that makes sense. And it's all the same thing, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like,
it can get very, very unusual sometimes. I remember during lockdown, I bought a bundle off someone on eBay, and I negotiated a price, and he told me that CFS had been in touch with him, and I think I said it was a Liverpool bundle, and CFS had been in touch, and I offered him something. He accepted it, and then I decided to split up the bundle. And when he saw that I started selling it as individual, he went crazy at me. He was getting in touch with all sorts of people to the point where I was just like, I was just a wreck, and getting in touch with people to tell them my side of the story, because he was thinking that I stole it from him. And I get comments every now and then. I've got like 12,000 followers on TikTok, and these are kids, really, and I shouldn't really take to heart what kids have to say because they don't know how the real world works. But someone, I had a great find last week with a Blackburn 90s drill top, and I was honest with people. People know that I'm a seller, so I said, I think this shirt is going to go for like £90 or so. And someone just commented saying, you stole this from a charity shop. I didn't steal it because I paid the money for it. If they want to sell it, I understand what the logic of a charity shop is, that they are supposed to raise money for the charity. That's their mission statement at the end of the day. If they want to sell it for the value, they can do, but people are less likely to buy it.
Exactly.
You know, you got to weigh up what's more the better option for them. But this idea that we steal is just ridiculous. That's not how the charity shops work. And that's just my 2 cents on that matter.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You know, you have to look at the chain, how it works. The charity shop are happy because they've got the price they asked for it. You're happy because you've got a price that you're happy to pay. You've got a price that you're happy to sell, and then the buyer who buys that is also happy because they bought it at a price they think it's worth. Obviously, just as the eBay seller you were speaking about, obviously you've negotiated a price with him, so he was obviously happy for that. If you then decided to do whatever you wish to do with goods you've bought rightfully, it's no one else's business really. And I think that, you know, like you say, Ryan, it's murky undertones in terms of selling and collecting. If you're known as a collector, like I said, I think people are worried you're just flipping stuff, or you know, you're working an angle to try and mug people off and stuff like that. But
if you buy something and flip it, you've bought it off a consenting adult who set a price.
Exactly.
If you buy it and chuck it into a lake from a bridge, is that any better? Or you know what I mean? Like it's your property. Like you can do what you want.
If anything, it sounds to me, you know, they're kicking themselves because they've not been able to do what you've been able to do, and it's a bit sour grapes if you ask me. 100%. But it is a crazy one. Going back to your personal collection, then Max, I'm going to stick to the collecting questions. I think so. The one shirt you hold up in your collection as unsellable. Something you apart from the training top.
Yeah, let's ignore the City stuff because I feel like 99% of the answers would be City, so I have to try and take a step back.
That's absolutely fine. I think we had Cornish on. He was like Chelsea. So don't worry about that.
Oh, this.
Oh yeah.
CFS had like bring your shirts, we'll value it, and then you know you can either take the money or take store credit, and I took store credit and I'm a massive Simpsons fan. I mean, I just posted stuff on my Twitter and on TikTok now, just like because all I'm thinking is like if England win, I've got the best Simpsons reference to post on there, because Simpsons is to me those first 10 seasons the best TV, let alone best animation of all time. There's not a day goes by where I'm not like got a Simpsons quote relevant to the situation in my head. Massive Simpsons fan, and it's just fantastic. It's Ferro, they're an Argentinian third division team. This is their goalkeeper shirt, again with the sublimated on here, so you don't have to worry about wear and tear or anything like that. So yeah, I think this is a great one for me to have. Because of the fact that they got it from Classic Football Shirts, other people most likely will have it. But for me, as a Simpsons fan, I just cling on to it a bit more.
It's just a fun football shirt, and it's quirky. It makes you laugh. It's like, what the hell have you got that on a football shirt for? You look at it, I think it's like the ones with the big prawns on it, the Spanish lower league teams.
It's a fine line. And the bacon. You don't want to look at anything that's got eyes on it.
But again, you know, the conversation pieces, which everyone wants their football shirt to be. I wear them, and if I don't get a compliment or I don't get someone talking to me about it, I feel a bit like, mate. I mean, like I was at a Makers Market. My partner has got a small business, and we was at that today, and I was wearing the gold Barcelona away shirt from 2001, 2002. And a guy just stopped me and said, "Oh, they did well last night, didn't they?" I didn't even know they played. I was like, "Oh, yeah. What was the score?" I had to make up because I didn't even know Barcelona were playing, to be honest with you. I got him a conversation, and it's one of them, and it snowballs from there. You talk about kits, you talk about football, and so that, I mean, when you get that, I imagine you get some looks and some compliments on that.
Yeah, it's been a while, but just what you were saying there is really interesting. Like if you meet a stranger and you start talking about football shirts, I found that football shirts is the only thing in the football world that isn't filled with that toxic culture about it. That even as a City fan, I can say something like about the Peter Schmeichel goalkeeper shirt from 1995 with the blue body with the greens and the green sleeves and the orange triangles, that you can talk about how, oh my God, isn't that the wackiest thing ever? Like how great were 90s shirts? And then you just go from there. But everything else about football. I love talking about football shirts, but I don't like talking about football.
It depends who you're talking to with, I guess. You know, if you can have someone who's level with it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it gets people too worked up, doesn't it? It gets people too emotional that they can't really have that calm conversation.
People. The sad thing is, and a lot, I find it a lot in terms of, obviously, I do content that is just football, not football kits as well. But I think that's helped me become a lot more objective. Like I can speak objectively about Manchester United as much as Liverpool, and I can appreciate things about Liverpool even though I hate them. Same as City and stuff like that. Obviously, being the two clubs I was grown up to hate. But I think, you know, like you say, you can't really be objective when it comes to your team, because you have that some blind loyalty, and you know you can't admit City are better than Manchester United. That just can't happen. But I think with football kits, and football shirts and that culture, it's all opinionated. You know, it's not, you're not going to take offense if someone doesn't like the shirt I'm wearing today, because I could not like a shirt you're wearing. That's absolutely fine. And I think people don't really take it to heart so much. And I think, you know, you're saying obviously you can look at a shirt and it tells a story. The whole reason Talking Kit ever got started was because no matter who you are, no matter how much you love football or football shirts, I think everyone can tell a story about a football shirt, whether that's the first football shirt you ever were given, or worn, a football shirt from your favorite game, your favorite player. And that's what it's about. It's about telling them stories that mean something different to me, like to you or to me. Like, we can look at a City shirt and it can be the most, you know, for instance, 2012, that's the worst City shirt in the world for me because of the Aguero moment, where to you, it's probably one of the best just because of those memories it holds.
Yeah, and it's funny because to me, the worst United shirts, I mean, they're United shirts, therefore they're awful. But the 2009-10 Chevron shirt with Owen scoring in the last minute, or the 2012-13 tablecloth shirt. It was funny because, like, I say funny, but I woke up the day of that derby in immense pain, like no pain I've ever felt before. And I won't go into too much detail about it, but I was like, it's the derby, I can't not go to it. And so it's because when we were 2-0 down, and then we got it back to 2-2. And my dad always tends to have like this sixth sense in him. It's like when something's happening in football, he'll say something like, and he says to me like, "Don't worry, it's going to be okay." And it brought like this sweeping calm came over me. And so lo and behold, the free kick happens. Nasri decides he doesn't like taking one for the team, and the ball goes in. And then the next day, that immense pain is still there, and I was like, that's it, can't do it anymore. Mom, I need to be taken to the hospital. I've had this pain since yesterday, and I couldn't afford to go to the hospital about it. The memory of seeing that tablecloth shirt is as much about me going to the hospital as it is about one of the worst moments I've ever experienced as a fan. And I've been to the bloody Champions League final.
Yeah, it's mad how what shirts can bring back and those sort of memories. A couple of comments. I want to say big shout out to Ilias for locking in. Big up Double A, Ryan and Max. Thanks for locking in. Big Liverpool fan. I bet he's happy after yesterday. We'll try not to talk about that so much to you, Max, as I'm sure it's a little bit sore.
It's all right. I didn't watch the second half, so
it didn't happen then. Didn't exist. You watch it. Didn't happen. I get that. I can get on board with that idea, mate. 100%.
Been doing that for years.
Been doing that since 2013. To be fair to you, Ryan, I'm sure. Andy's come through. This question for you, Max. What are your thoughts on City shirt this season? The way they've incorporated the maroon, I think.
Yeah. At first, I wasn't blown away by it, but the more I've seen it, and now that I've seen it worn on the players, because I did watch the first half at the end of the day, I've got an account with FIFA Kit Creator. I don't know if you guys know what it is, but I'm always designing shirts, and I always think of ways in which it can be improved one way or the other. I do like the armbands, but I'm not too keen about carrying the design onto the collar as well too. I'm thinking maybe if it was just like, you know, a crossover color where it kind of like gets stitched over and just one layer of maroon and then white, that would have been good. I do like the little crown on the inside as a reference to Colin Bell. I wasn't too keen on the away shirt when I saw the leaks of it, but again, seeing it worn on the players, I am more of a fan of it now. However, have you seen that piece of trash of the leak away shirt? I didn't know that paying tribute to Celtic's Bumblebee shirt was something that was in City's tradition. And what's even worse, it looks like whoever was designing it initially on a rough design using like a Sharpie marker ran out of the marker because it stops abruptly at the side. And they're like, here you go, boss. I'm like, I love it. Let's run with it. And they didn't feel brave enough to step up and say like, oh, no, it needs to be filled in the side, because they didn't want to like get the anger of their manager or something. They just thought, oh, I'm in for a promotion here. Let's just go with it. But it's horrible. Absolutely horrible.
One thing I have to say, I'm not going to say I like it, but I appreciate it about your kit this season is the away the alternate home shorts are maroon as well, which I do quite like.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Throwback. That's a nice throwback.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll be wearing them at Old Trafford. It's really a sticking point. My dad absolutely hates it. I've got a season ticket with my old man. And when City come, they don't wear chain shorts. They'll wear white shorts. Pisses my dad off to untold levels. I'm like, Dad, it doesn't matter. Why are you bothered? It really grinds his gears. Like, we're going to get spanked either way, Dad. So it don't matter what shorts they're wearing, does it? Let's be honest. Yeah, Ryan, I'll hand over to you, mate. Any sort of selling questions you've got?
Yeah, so just to clarify, so you'd said obviously about the shirts that you'd seen in the charity shop from the where you volunteered with the dogs and stuff. So were they the first ones that you'd sold then, or had you sold as a seller as such?
Yeah, they were. I can't remember when I set up my Depop page. I really can't. But those at first I was just finding bundles of shirts and then doing them as auctions. I remember buying some great shirts from a guy who was based in Huddersfield. So I just traveled up the M62 to meet him. He came from Bermuda. And I bought some great stuff. What's that Germany shirt? I think it was from Euro 2008, where it's red with black central, and the Adidas's 3 gold stripes down there. It had the Euro 2008 patches on it as well too, and it was Torsten Frings 8. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is going to be great, and it barely scraped £10. And I was really, really deflated about it. So, and that was then the moment. It was like, right, no more. You want to make some money off this, and it's nice if you have this feeling of like being able to give affordable football shirts to other people. But you put a lot of time, effort, petrol money to drive down the M62, and you've not really made it worth your while. So that's when it was like, okay, it's time to buy it now. Have some flexibility about it, like, don't go below 25% if it's of this certain price bracket, but start to be a bit more selfish, I guess you could say, and make some money off of it.
And then I suppose I'm just looking through the questions here because you're very good at answering them before I ask them, because it's just how the conversation flows. I do that too. I don't mean to. It's just how the conversation
I've been dreaming of being famous for years, so I try and give it. my aspirations used to be that I was going to be a famous musician. So I would love to tell you about my 20th album that's in my head.
Well, it'll be when you do hit fame, from being a musician, it won't be your merchandise for your music name. It'll be football kits you'll be selling outside the gig. Where they always have the tour stuff or whatever. Like, you do both at the same time then, and they can pay you to tour and do both. So that could work really well, actually. I suppose then it's kind of like a double-ended question. So, is there a shirt that you've regretted selling? I know you mentioned obviously there's like the Kappa City one and stuff. I know you had it, but I'm sure it's hard to part with anyway. But maybe isolating outside the city, is there any shirt you've regretted selling because of the price or because of just loving the shirt? And is there one that you've
price? Absolutely. I remember distinctly the Arsenal shirt that was from the 90s, the yellow one with the blue band across the middle.
Yeah, JBC.
The Mark Overmars against that's the only my association with it. I'm not trying to annoy you guys, but that's my association.
No, it's mine.
So I had that listed for £90, and I was thinking to myself, well, it's a 90s Arsenal shirt, so therefore it's going to fly out. And it didn't fly out. I didn't know about the long game, about how you should just sit on shirts. And I was thinking maybe I priced it too much. And so I just choked, and I halved the price to £45, and someone of course snapped it up. That's one that sticks out very much for me. I remember as well, looking back now, that the United 2007 shirt, the Champions League with Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez, with the strip on the back, that I used to sell those shirts for like 25-30 quid, but now I think obviously the price of football shirts have gone up extremely in the last couple of years because of the pandemic. But maybe even back then, I could have completely undersold it. So yeah, those are the ones which stick out most of all for underselling. But the other one that I regret selling because I know I'm never going to get my hands on it ever again was unless I buy it for myself properly, but was the pink Juventus 2015 shirt. Prestige. When I got that shirt in a bundle, I was like, oh, I've never seen this shirt. Just look it up. Holy shit, it's 200 quid on classic football shirts. Like, I don't even remember the shirt coming out. I never knew about the reference to Drake or anything like that. Yeah. And so, like, £200 CFS, and like, this is amazing. And so I listed it for 100 and sold it for 75 because he said about that I'm always a little bit flexible on these things. But yeah, that is such a nice shirt, and I'm most likely never going to get that again in a bundle or ever see it in a charity shop. It's more of a fashion item than it is a football shirt now. Yeah. So yeah, it was a size small, which I guess is a bit of a consolation, but because I'm a medium. Well, actually, pandemic's taking me up a size or two, but yeah. So yeah, that's the one that I regret in terms of not being able to keep for myself.
Yeah, and but it's funny. It's one I've never had in. The only one I've had, the other pink Juve one with the star.
Oh, that was a Kappa shirt, wasn't it? Oh no, I know which one you're talking about. The massive stuff.
One, yeah. I've had a couple of those, but I've never had the one that you've talked about. I've had I know which Kappa one you're talking about before as well. I've had one or two of those maybe over the years. But yeah, that one you're talking about, it seems impossible to get unless you pay the sell.
I've seen it, but it's brand new with tags. Like, I've seen quite a few of them, like, because I've done the retro football fair before, and I've seen a few people. Like, it's amazing that you have such a rare shirt, but the fact that so many people I've seen brand new with tags, and on a couple of occasions with name sets too, like, amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think the CFS got a load of backstock in them. I don't know why that's just bouncing in my head, but I think they maybe did at one point. And I would say those boys sold it for what it sold it for, but maybe people have bought it to have it and went, actually, I should maybe sell that because it doesn't work on the collection anymore. So that could be why they've still got them with the tags. But I'm pretty sure if it was CFS that got a load of them in, or Cult Kits, one of them are anyway, they tend to do that too.
That's crazy. Drake's done that twice. I don't know if you know the second one with the Corinthians third shirt. I think he was pictured wearing that. Literally, the day before I was going to buy it, I didn't know about the picture. Gone to buy it the next day. No, you ain't getting it nowhere. It had gone. It had absolutely, just because he'd posted it, people were buying it, and you think you don't even know who Corinthians are. Annoying. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Go back to collecting. So is there a shirt you've been looking for? Not necessarily a Grail shirt, but a shirt you've desperately wanted to get. Managed to get your hands on it, looked at it and thought, actually, I don't think it's for me.
No, I've not had that moment yet where, I mean, I could easily just walk into a classic football shirt. I just take the train into Victoria Station and walk to there. And, I could, in theory, buy the 1995 City home shirt with King Clancy 7 on the back, but that's going to be like £200 or upwards of that. But that is a shirt. That is one that I distinctly remember. That if not the goalkeeper shirt, that shirt. There's a picture of me wearing the full kit as a child. There's loads of pictures of me wearing it. But it's happened a couple of times now when I went to Bury once and went around the charity shops and found nothing. Are you familiar with the charity shops in Bury?
No, I've not really been around them, no, but I know Bury a bit. I've worked there before. Yeah.
Well, there was one shop there, St. Vincent's, which I've had a bit of mixed luck in before with finding stuff. But just this one day, just that one day I go there and nothing's there. The next day I'm on the train down to London because I got to go to work. And I see charity shop football shirt finds, which is my favorite account on Twitter, posts, retweets a guy who said, just been into St. Vincent's charity shop and had found the 1995 home shirt, but also the red and black away.
Oh, you joking. You joking.
And I'm just like, I was fucking there just yesterday. just dying on the inside that, you know, maybe if I'd gone in an hour later, anything.
Yeah.
The sliding doors moment, I guess you could say. What if I just done something differently?
Yeah, beating yourself up.
Yeah.
What have I done? Yeah, that's mad. That's crazy. I imagine that's happened to so many people. You've gone in, there's nothing there, and then someone's found an absolute worlder an hour later or a couple of days later. It's mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything from you, Ryan?
Well, just sort of on that as a seller point of view, I've had that where someone's come in that morning and asked for a shirt. I've been like, oh, you know, I had this one but gone last week or whatever. I don't have anything coming in. And then someone comes in their lunch break and be like, oh, I found this in the wardrobe. You know, I'll give you it for this price. I'm like, yes, sir. But pop, and I don't have the details of the person from that morning because they're just someone that popped in.
Yeah.
And I'll pop it online and they'll be like, what? You told me you didn't have that? It was like, honest to God, some guy came in. And just, you know, like I wouldn't hide it from you. It's not like I don't like you. You know, I'll take your money happily. Like, but it just didn't play out that way, sort of thing. So, and see, then I suppose long term for you, Max, selling shirts, are you?
The long term is, well, I'm pleased to say that the business is self-sustainable. I work full time, although work right now is a little bit quiet because it involves students on university campus, and obviously the students are off for the summer, so I can dedicate a little bit of the daytime to just getting my listing sorted. But the business is self-sustainable. I don't have to put any of my money into it. And so if I sell a shirt, and I've never taken a penny out of the business, my dad always says to me that if you treat the business well, the business will treat you well.
Yeah.
So if I sell a football shirt for, let's say, 20 quid, but I bought it for £5, that £15 profit will go towards buying 3 more football shirts, and it will just roll on. So that's how I've now got about 300 football shirts currently listed. I'm looking right now at a pile of like 100 that needs to get listed. And you know, in the world of flipping, it's just always about using the money to invest more, to buy more, to invest more, to buy more. What am I? And every modern shirt that I may have right now will eventually become a 20-30-year-old shirt, and so that will go up in value without any extra expense. The sky's the limit. Why not have the aspiration that one day I could offer a sponsorship deal to City to take over from Etihad? Like, we should be delighted with what happened with Classic Football Shirts and Burnley. Their success, I guess you could say, is our success. Though I'm sure they don't really see it that way. But yeah, why not be able to go full time with it, Ryan? Like, the fact that you have a shop, I admire you so much
100%.
for taking that leap of faith and going. Well, obviously it's your full-time job, and you have a job that is your passion, no doubt about it, and you earn a wage out of it. I'm very scared, and in theory, yes, I could take some money out and give myself a little bit of extra income, but it's like I said before, if you treat the business well, the business will treat you well.
Yeah.
Why not be able to? I'm not doing anything wrong right now to stop me from going full time. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I picked the pandemic. Don't do that.
I do think as well about
made sense then. So that was another thing that I was like, well, sure enough, it makes sense. I might as well go for it.
But things the way that they are right now, because it's easy to say, yeah, I am a very sociable person. I would, in theory, like to have a shop, and you know, it's one thing when you get messages from people on Depop or eBay, and you can have that little bit of a moment to make a connection, but it's nowhere near the same as having a physical shop and having the conversations that we've had so far today. But there are so many other aspects of things like business rates, gas, electric, and look, we know that's expensive right now. And it would take years for me to feel brave enough to do that, to open up a shop. But even if it was strictly online, there's no reason why it couldn't be done, why it can't get to that stage.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's like I had no retail experience really. I worked 2 months in a fish and tackle shop in the local town because my other job just suddenly ended out of nowhere, you know. So I jumped into that. Didn't know anything about fishing. Didn't even know how to own a fishing rod or hold a fishing rod. No idea, you know. That fish, I never caught a fish, you know. So, but what that gave me the basis of is seeing a small independent business and seeing like maybe 1% of what you need to know. So when it came years later, and it was like, I went to Classic Football Shirts. I actually was in Manchester because I wanted to see Frampton fight Warrington in 2018. And it was in the, I think, CMEN Arena, I think, isn't it? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
I just about got out of it, like, because Manchester was invaded by Leeds fans. And very passionate Leeds fans, will say.
That's no passion.
Who weren't too fond of the area. But it was mad. And ducked in for cover essentially the CFS for a nosy, like, you know, just jokingly said, "Oh, I'll do this one day," and opened the shop 9 months later, you know. So, but not full time. Like you have a job there that gives you at certain times free time to do stuff. So that's essentially what I was able to do because I was a civil servant at that point. So you could cram your flexi, you could cram 5 days of work into 3.5, and then use the other 2.5 for the shop type thing, you know. So there's and that, like, if you were to say to like the boys at CFS, you know, that's the way I did it, they'd be like, that's mental. That doesn't make any sense. There's no right or wrong or whatever way to it, you know. It's just literally you just get a bee in your bonnet and you go, it's going to have to happen here.
Yeah, take a leap of faith in it and just
pretty much, yeah. Just like me, you could do it part time, you know, or you could do. There's just so many different things, basically. But it's nice that it's not something that's under pressure. It's something that you're enjoying, and you're managing the.
It's very difficult, though.
Calmly, you know.
Yeah, it is very, very difficult because I work from home. My colleagues in my job, they're all based in London, and I do have to travel down there every now and then. But, you know, when there are those days in which you do have a pile of like 100 football shirts lining up, and it's not going anywhere, but you spend all your day on your laptop looking at the screen, the last thing you then want to do is spend the rest of the evening on your laptop looking at it. It can be very, very difficult sometimes. And, you know, you feel bad that you've not done this extra work, but, you know, this could be going off a whole different tangent about like mental health and stuff. But, you know, you
don't live to work.
You
don't live to work. You kind of have to find that balance, like.
Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely. No, and it's really refreshing just to hear how you're doing it, you know, and how you're doing it in a nice, calm, level-headed way.
Yeah, it's great. I commend both you guys. Obviously, I don't know if I could go into selling shirts. For me, it's not something I just like buying them, to be fair to you, and talking about them on YouTube. Pretty much is where I'm at, but. I'd like I say, commend you both in, you know, different aspects of how you've gone about it and stuff. And yeah, Max, I hope you get that. I hope one day you're there, fitted for fans in the northern quarter, Affleck's Palace. Nice little pop up. I'll be there, mate. Opening day to buy a couple of shirts, definitely. Back to collecting then. What I think we'll do, we'll ask you a little 5-a-side team of name sets, shirts with name sets you've got. Could you pick a best sort of 5-a-side team from your shirts you've got?
Not necessarily. I don't, but I have a policy that when it comes to football shirts, I don't get the players' names on the back as and when they sign. I mean, how many times have we put our foot in our mouths in the grand scheme of things? Like, you know, if you're an Arsenal fan, you could have got Thierry Henry as a brand new signing, but you thought, you know what, I really like the look of this Oleg Luzny guy. So now, you know, some people are very off about this kind of stuff, about getting unofficial name sets, even if they are literally the same thing. So I'm happy to buy a football shirt and wait later on in time and buy either a name set from CFS, or get an unofficial one off eBay. You know, it's not the same as fake football shirts in which serious harm is being done to people. If you've got the technology and the nous to make it at your home, I see no issue with that.
Yeah.
So I would love to get my City shirts filled up, but for the most part, they don't have. In terms of like my five-a-side of like who I have, I don't really have that many goalkeeper shirts. And God, if I were to use the yellow and black Umbro one, that would mean putting Ike Immel, the cross-eyed goalkeeper, in goals. So, you know, that's that situation. I've got a Kevin De Bruyne shirt here. I got that off Amazon from their Prime Day the other week. Fantastic deal that was. So he would be Ike Immel, Kevin De Bruyne. There's a Sergio Aguero shirt in here as well too. There's a Messi shirt as well.
I mean, there's 3 of the 5. You've got the Homer shirt. That has to be your keeper. Sure.
The what shirt?
The Homer shirt. Homer Simpson.
That's but we don't actually know how good Campos is. I mean, let's be honest. Argentinian third division doesn't exactly.
I mean, with Messi, De Bruyne, and Aguero is 3 of the 5. No one else is getting the ball, mate. I don't think.
I just remembered. I've actually got I've got company 4 on the back of
there you go,
16. So
Homer can just chill out and eat donuts. Homer doesn't need to do anything. You know what I mean? The other 4 will sort it out like.
Yeah, so it actually, from thinking that I was going to have real difficulty, I've actually done all right for myself.
I think that's one of the best we've had, to be honest with you, mate. That's a really good 5. Yeah, great, brilliant. Ryan, over to you.
Yeah, let me just have a look here. So, I suppose, well, we'll stick to, you mentioned, you know, some of the current shirts, and you kind of touched on it there. So you were saying some of the current shirts you expect to be sought after, you know, in the next sort of 20 to 30 years, might even be the next 10 years. Or as, you know, the likes of that Drake Juve one come up, it didn't take long for that at all. So is there any of the maybe last 5 years of shirts you sort of go, you know what, they are going to be the ones that people are running after?
Yeah, I think maybe as a bit of a curveball, I would say actually I've got the shirt here. I'd say this Barcelona shirt only because of the fact that this was Messi's final Barcelona shirt. I think that might have a bit of an outside opportunity to become a highly sought out after one. But if we think, oh God almighty, Daddy Longlegs just got into my office. I bloody hate them. I'll try and keep composure. Oh God, where's it gone? That's the worst part of all. But if I was thinking of something a little bit more outside the box, I would say the Spurs away shirt from last season, that weird lava lamp of a shirt. I don't know how to describe it, but let's be honest, when we all first saw it, we were thinking, what is going on there? And now I'm thinking to myself, why couldn't that be us? And you can say that for, you could say that for United. I'm saying it for City. If we had that shirt, I would wear that so often. Yeah. And I think that's going to be a really good one. And I think off the back of the events of today, the Lioness home shirt will be sought out after. I remember doing a video when it was the Euro 2020 final, like for last year, on TikTok, saying, like, if you haven't bought a shirt, an England home shirt, and you desperately want one, buy it now, because if England do win, you're not going to find it anywhere. And if you have the money to do it, buy 2, one for yourself and one to keep hold of and brand new with tax, because you could sell that for who knows how much. Also, if again, another bit of outside the box, but still in connection with the Lionesses, that pink and blue training shirt.
Yeah.
I know in the last few years, like that blue and red homage to the 80s shirt, that was the 2018 World Cup, that's kind of sought after. But I think now that there's an actual winner instead of a potential winner, that pink and blue is going to be very valuable as and when it goes online. I can't find it myself. I don't have any England shirts. I haven't had an England shirt since like 2000, I think. But seeing that shirt, makes me want to have it.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams, a lot of clubs, nations really. Obviously, like you mentioned before, football obviously is a lot more fashion based now. You see a lot of shirts. I used to have a real problem with teams not sticking to traditional colours that they've had. Like you say, that Spurs shirt from last season, not a typical colour, but is an absolutely beautiful shirt, and I still stick by it. Their away shirt for this season, I'm absolutely in love with. I don't care if it looks like a wetsuit. I love it. I think it's a great shirt.
Terrible.
No, I love it. I love it. I just think it's a great shirt.
It doesn't make sense to me, but I do. I really like it too.
Yeah,
I won't wear it, but there's
You're just throwing colours. You're just throwing colours and hoping whatever's going to stick. There's no logic there.
I think they've had purple shirts before, haven't they? So I think they've incorporated it with that. And like I say, it's somewhat a bit different. I personally, I know this Nike template's it's throwing people off. It's cutting people down the middle. Some hate it, some are okay, some absolutely love it as well. So I'm a fan of it.
This is a huge downgrade as well from what they did have to what it is now.
Template wise, you mean, or design wise, like covers wise?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Sorry, it's just is it the template you don't like compared to last season?
Yeah, it's if you're gonna have the purple shirt. I mean, they had the purple shirt last season that was awful. But if you're gonna have the purple shirt because it's in your history, that's fine too. But why then suddenly that small section of fluorescent yellow and then having black shoulders and sleeves too? And then no doubt about it, there'll be the marketing bullshit that will come along and say this is inspired by the market of Tottenham. It's all part and parcel of a lot of issues that I have with modern football. Like, just be honest. You just went on Microsoft Paint or whatever. You just thought, hey, wouldn't this look good? This is more about my gripe with marketing. I just cannot stick it right now. You remember last season's Liverpool home shirt with the orange flashes going through it? That's supposed to represent energy and danger.
Do you know the worst one of those, right? And Ryan, I hope you agree with this. The Manchester United shirt, was it 17-18 that had the really thick black lines? It was like a gradient.
18-19, that was
18-19, was it?
Yeah.
And the reason they said that was to represent the train tracks from when we were Newton Heath. Like,
that was.
Don't feed me.
I don't read these
Do you know about the Chelsea colour?
Sorry, go ahead, Max.
You know the Chelsea colour, the white colour on the new Chelsea shirt. Do you know what that's about?
Please tell me.
It's a tribute to like a former manager. I can't. The name escapes me, but yeah, you look at that white collar with a bit of sky blue trim going through it, and you think, "Oh yeah, of course, I see it."
It is madness. Just quickly, big shout out to Kit Manaman. Happy you're here, mate. One of the greatest football kit content creators on YouTube. Make sure you go and check out his channel if you're locked in. I think we need to get him on here for a chat. That'll be a great episode. I'm with you. I'm going to go back to Manchester United. The pink shirt from a few years ago was taken after the Manchester Pink sports paper. Bullshit. Absolute nonsense. I mean, there's no need for it.
Just talking about that, Max. What's this about Milan influencing the Man City?
No. So this is actually legit. Now we'll talk about like two different aspects of this. Yes,
he wins it back when it's City. That's what it is.
City have won. The story is that Malcolm Allison, the assistant manager in the 1960s to Joe Mercer, saw like AC Milan were the team in the world, and so to play like them, we should dress like them. And lo and behold, we wore the red and black, and we won the FA Cup, the League Cup, had some kind of like good fortune wearing it, and it just became a tradition from then. But that video, oh my God, it's just horrific.
Oh yeah,
it's just it's so like. Do you know there was one part that was just like I've never subscribed to this idea like this is Manchester, we do things differently. Like, how do we do things differently in Manchester from anywhere else in the world? Someone did break it down to me that actually because of like industrial revolution and stuff that, whatever Manchester thinks of first, the rest of the world does second. And that actually is really, really impressive. I never knew that, and I truly learned something. But that definition has been lost along the way, and it just makes it seem like, we wear hamburgers on our feet kind of thing, and you know what I mean. It just sounds silly now when you have a statement such as that. And also this fascination that we are the capitals of the music world because we had a golden period in the 90s. But if we're paying tribute so much in this video to the 90s, do we not remember how bad it was as a club? We should be thinking about how great this shirt is going into the future with Haaland and such a great youth potential coming through and stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about the 90s as if it was like
that was our decade. That was our decade. You're focusing on the wrong club if you're talking about the 90s in Manchester. Yeah. I don't know if you saw Chris from Chat Shirts. His thread on it was absolutely brilliant, and I had to jump in on that. And
yeah, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
I'm not a City fan, obviously, and I'm a proud Mancunian, but at certain points, United are guilty of doing it in their videos. It becomes a bit offensive to me. Like my old Mancunians are seen as these yobbos who walk around wearing cagoules and bucket hats and gazelles. I don't own a pair of gazelles. You don't have to talk to me like I'm mad for it. And
Manchester with the Happy Mondays or Oasis.
This is it. Manchester haven't had a good band in years. Blossoms are from Stockport, so you can't count them. And I mean, the biggest music we've got at the moment is probably H. And does anyone like H? Really? No, not me. No, thank you. So this is what I mean. Celebrate what Manchester is now, not what Manchester was for a short period in the 90s, I would say. I fully agree with that, Chris. 100%.
Considering about how often people say about how, Manchester in the 90s was just awful. The bombing was a blessing in disguise, which is a really weird thing to say about a terrorist attack. But we say that because of the fact that Manchester was this really dreary city that needed rejuvenation.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree. We'll finish off. Last question. So your house is on fire. I wish that in real life. You can grab one shirt only to take with you and live happily ever after. Which one are you going to grab, Matt?
It's the Kappa tracksuit set. I told you before, that's going to the grave with me. So it has to be that. And if there's no way of going out, I'll get dressed into it if I've got a couple of moments to.
To be fair, mate, because I assume these are your pajamas at this point. So let's pretend that you're already wearing them to bed, and now you can pick a shirt as well. Pick a shirt for me as well. So you can keep the tracksuit. Pick a shirt. Come on.
Life is full of important choices.
Don't worry, mate. It's not actually going to happen. It's just for the show. Don't you worry.
Oh God Almighty! This is. I've never really thought. I was just hoping to get away with this, but now you're really putting me on the spot.
This is what it's about. This is what I want. I want to see you squirm and really have to pick a choice. It's like a live version of Sophie's Choice.
And you're saying this to a Jewish guy, and you know what that movie's all about.
What apologies.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Honest to God, you know what? It's going to have to be. Where is it? Here we go. No surprise. No surprise. It's the one and only football match. It's the one and only football match I've ever cried at.
Why did I push you? I wish I hadn't bothered now.
No. It does make logical sense. It makes complete logical sense. This is the shirt from the greatest moment I've ever had at a football match. The only time I've ever cried at a football match. Years and years and years of going to school and taking the worst abuse from people who were United fans, who would bully me for all sorts of reasons, and City. And then, you get this moment of like redemption. I mean, I've not punched them in the face, but what you do, you take small victories wherever you can. This is it. There is nothing better. I mean, how many other shirts do we say that I'm going to wear this on this day? How many, a time frame is so synonymous. A day, the 13th of May, 2012.
A minute, a second, even it goes so far as that, doesn't it, really?
You could say Aguero, but you could say Aguero, and people know what you mean by that. It transcends football. Even people who don't like football know that moment. If you're able to say where you were at any moment in time, you know that's a special moment, and I was there.
You say that, but I remember where I was. I was in Reddish, and I remember it for all very different reasons. Let me tell you. So I remember where I was at that time.
Yeah, so horrible. I had to go to work after.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
Remember that? Yeah. So I'll not go with it, but long story short, Max, I worked in a call center at the time, and what they did was they let me stay off to watch the match on the premise that if United won, I was allowed the rest. I was going to work till 11 normally, but they would let me off. But obviously didn't, so I had to go into work. And the manager that was on was a Liverpool fan, so he treated it like Liverpool won the league, you know. And the abuse I got, like,
I'd have thrown a sticker. There was no way I was going in.
Yeah, I did leave the job soon after. To be fair, when I come to think about it, actually, so you know. But
I just found out because they just rescheduled the fixtures because of TV. And I just found out yesterday that for the Manchester Derby in October, I can't go to it because I have to be in London for work on the Sunday, and I can't get out of it. My manager, the manager of the company, he is a United fan, and so you know he's not stupid. You know he's gonna know, like, oh, you know that scene from Mean Girls where he's like, I can't come, I'm sick. Like, I can't do that. I can't say I've got a cold. I can't say I've eaten a dodgy bit of lasagna. I can't miss out.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Kit Manaman's jumped in. He remembers where I remember where I was and what I was doing when United won the Champions League. I think in '99. I do. I was in Levenshulme. I was 15 years old. I was getting attacked by grown men, not knowing, on stage celebrating winners. It was it was a strange moment. Let me just say that. Let me tell you. But that's like I was saying earlier.
You had to add on a level of that. You were attacked by grown men. Like,
I say attacked. I felt like I was attacked. I was just getting hugged and should we say groped a little bit, maybe a little bit groped. I don't know. Well, it's a long time ago. Let's just say that I've moved on. Thankfully. But like I say, it's all about them memories. And that is it for this month's episode of Get to Know. Max, honestly, mate, I could speak to you for another hour and a half. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Same.
I've loved chatting to you, mate. It's great stories and great knowledge and just a great person in the football community. I'm very thankful that you've wanted to come on. So where can people find you, where you live on the socials, so people can find you and get involved in your football kit journey and story?
Yeah, so if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @FittedForFans. If you want to follow me on TikTok, where I'm just chatting shit about shirts all the time, it's again Fitted for Fans. I'd love to have more shirt collectors of the truest sense of the word, like you guys, get involved, because when you remember that picture that went round on Twitter like a couple of weeks ago of in the Far East of people with retro Spurs shirts?
Yeah,
I put a video on about that, and dicks in the comment. So I could really do with proper football shirt people coming out to my defense. So yeah, if you're on TikTok @FittedFans, Depop @FittedForFans. If you're not into Depop but you would like to buy something off me, I do it through the DMs on there. But also, if you'd like to do it through eBay, it's FFF 2020.
Great stuff. And yeah, mate, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure, absolutely. Ryan, what's going on with you, mate? What can you tell people that might be new, or what's coming up with the shop?
Yeah, well, just the local clubs started stocking the local town club cards, and we'll be stocking my hometown Bangor shirt soon as well.
That's great.
It's kind of fun because it's like a mini version of stocking Liverpool shirts in the centre of Manchester.
Yeah.
The window's going to have Ards and Bangor shirts, right beside each other, like, and then a big pile of them at the window. So hopefully that doesn't cause any trouble, But like,
can I ask you a question, Ryan?
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot recently. Obviously, I'm very clued in on the history of Northern Ireland and all that, the negative stuff from back in the day. But do you ever find there's like people who come into your shop, and if you ever have that City 2018-19 third shirt where it's purple with the orange sash on there, but you feel that they're a bit too enthusiastic when it comes to it?
Because the Linfield shirt had that recently, the last year or two, had the same thing with the stash, and because of what it's affiliated to, in people's minds, that they then want to get that, and it winds up the other side type thing. So to me, it's like, it's so petty, it's unreal on so many levels. Like if someone buys that shirt, especially if it's a City one, it's not even a team in Belfast. You know, if they bought a City one just to try and aggravate someone else that they see as the other side, like it's grown men doing these things. You know what I mean? Like a kid doing it in a playground just to wind up their mate or something because it's a rival team. I get it. But like grown men doing it for anything outside of that, outside of football as such, it's mad. But I mean, those shirts, they do sell. But like I've had an issue, like where I was in Belfast was I was kind of like at the bottom of two different housing areas, two different prominent parts of Belfast. And one's one side on paper, one's the other side or whatever. And I was at the base of both. And no one cared. No one cared at all. You know, there's Celtic shirts, Rangers shirts, Cliftonville, Linfield, everything. You know, if you ever got both sets of fans in the shop, honestly, I loved it because the atmosphere was great. Especially on Saturday morning before the games, you know. They just, in the friendliest way possible, just completely tore each other apart because it was fun to do so. You know, and they were the best atmospheres in the shop. But there's always, like, if you get 100 people, you're going to get one dick. You know what I mean? Just what happens. So sometimes people do that with shirts because they adopt it for some other reason. But for the most part, people just.
I have a similar situation. I've got a similar situation because it's like what I just said. Then I told you that I'm Jewish, but you know, when it comes to that Fiorentina shirt, I know why people want to collect it. I completely get it, and I think, you know, if I felt that way inclined about wanting to buy the rarest shirts in the world, I would be looking to seek that out. But you gotta be wary of those who like the shirt.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Birmingham City away as well? That's got.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I know it can be a little bit problematic, but I don't think it's as. I think
people are trying to look for. I think people are looking for it rather than actually being there, kind of thing.
It's not. And there's also the Girona shirt as well too, where people are trying to see something there that's not really there.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember when it was the 2002 World Cup draw in Japan, and they had a geometric design, and I clearly saw the symbol there. But you know, in this case, someone's just trying too hard to find something. They're trying to make a situation out of nothing.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan, anything else from you before we go?
Some new stock coming this week. You know, it was meant to come last week. It's coming tomorrow, so keep the eyes peeled, really. But I'm going to do a bit of a clearance thing, really, at the moment, just because it sounds like a first world problem, but I've too much stuff. You know, for how the shop's laid out and stuff. You know, it's kind of getting lost because, like, so that reel for you, Max, works for you, but you know, behind you it's quite a compact reel. But it works for you, and you know exactly where to pick the stuff out. But if you've two people looking through the reel, they can't. It's too much. It's too much sort of thing in one reel, you know. And that's stuff that's maybe been there for a while. So there's going to be quite a lot of stuff that will go. Well, from my point of view, will sell this week hopefully. But if people are looking some bargains to start off their August shop.
Well, there we go. Make sure you're checking out NI Classic Shirt Co. All on the socials, obviously the website. If you live in the area, make sure you're heading down to the store as well. We'll be back next month, the last Sunday of every month. This show comes out. Get to know. Hopefully, we'll have a collector next week. Obviously, big thanks to Max being our seller and collector this week in a dual role. He filled it absolutely great. We've got a couple of podcasts coming up soon as well. The main pod should be coming back very, very soon as well. So we've got a couple of episodes we're recording soon, and they'll be dropping in the next coming weeks. And like I said earlier as well, Full Kit Rankers, the greatest ranking show on the internet, is going to be back. 24th of August, we have got a massive guest coming on that show as well. I'm really excited to get that series back up and running. It's a great midweek lightener and fluffer, if you like, for the coming weekend. So like always, if it is your first time talking kit, or even if it's not, make sure you are liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and commenting, sharing with your kit-loving friends as well. We'll be back very, very soon with more football kit content. And as always, you just need to make sure that you are talking kit. Goodbye.